So, guys, welcome to the Moto Villa. This is a chilly winter evening in Delhi, and today I'm going to record my first ever podcast. And the fact of the matter is that I have a very interesting personality with me. He's Mr. Mohal, all the way from Ahmedabad, and he's the founder and father of Matter. And that sounds something like from the future. Well, let's find out. So, Mohal, welcome to Delhi. I think यहाँ पे थोड़ी ज़्यादा आपको ठंड लग रही होगी अहमदाबाद से.
So thank you for having me here.
I want to ask you, how are you feeling being surrounded only by internal combustion engine motorcycles?
I'm enjoying seeing soon to be relics. But I mean, that might be very harsh a statement, but I think these were engines which have had their prime, and I think the next 10 years are going to be the pivotal point.
Yeah.
You've seen the Blackberries, you've seen the Nokias. Not trying to draw comparison, but we have seen technology evolve very quickly overnight, and at the end of the day, it's all coming down to people's choice.
That one was below the belt when you say that these are going to be relics because, obviously people, they have been divided over the fact ever since the horse riding started. Those people used to say that the real involvement is in horse riding. It's not like when you get on wheels. And then when coal powered gave way to, of course, petrol engines, then those guys used to say that, oh, you're just going too fast, stuff like that. Do you think that for sure these are going to be obviated, not required anymore? Or is there going to be a balance which is going to be achieved between electric vehicles, or let me say alternate energy vehicles, and an internal combustion engine vehicle as we know today?
So if your question is, do people still ride horses? Then yes, they do. If that's the question, yes, people still do ride horses. We have reached a point where transport is more important to the larger audience, the larger population as a whole, and doing it more conveniently, doing it cheaper, that's what really is the way forward. Think about this scenario. You never have to go to a petrol pump. You don't have to pay 10 times as much. There's essentially zero maintenance. This is the promise of electric. Charge at home, it's cheaper to drive, and they're almost maintenance free. That's the convenient side of it. I mean, you can add on the layer of navigation, you can talk about other creature comforts which come in. You're getting turn by turn information about how your vehicle's performing on your app. All of this is the promise of electric. For people who are wanting to choose convenience, everyone is gonna start making the logical choice and start moving towards electric. But does that mean internal combustion will be wiped off the planet? Maybe not. I don't think it's that binary position.
In COVID, we saw that a lot of people, they actually found out how fragile their life is, how short their life is, and how unpredictable their life is. And we got a reminder of that. So people started living their life more. They started to travel, and, all these kind of things started to happen. So my question is that one side there is convenience. The other side, you have that desire to, go fast and, live life greater than, what you can. Which means that, of course, the vehicles that we are used to, they are actually extrapolation of our bodies, like exoskeletons.
Yeah.
They make us go faster. They make us feel like, superhumans.
Yeah.
So what you are proposing through this electric dream is convenience and, just everything there, right there, on your TFT dashboard or something like that. What about actual thrill of that the ICE engine provides? What about the involvement? What about the sound? That is one of the biggest, talking points, pun intended, the sound, of an ICE engine. What do you think about that aspect?
So our motorcycle Matter era has a gearbox. The involvement is there. The involvement is real. This is not some fancy, it's an automatic, but I'm treating it like a manual. I'm talking 4 gears and a clutch.
I would want to write that and see for myself.
Let's schedule that as soon as possible.
Okay.
Come down today. I'm heading back. Come down with me. We'll figure something out.
Okay. All right.
But that feel, which is a true motorcycle feel. I'm not talking about glorified scooters. I'm not talking about scooters. I'm talking about the true essence of a motorcycle, and you will be one to relate with this. What makes a motorcycle is the involvement.
Hmm.
It's the control over the powertrain. You are in control, not the vehicle.
Yeah.
We have actually worked hard, and I'm telling you, 5 years in, we have worked hard to really give that back to the consumer. So we're giving you the benefits of electric. We are not forgetting what the essence of motorcycling is.
You have been in development since 5 years.
Yeah.
How did you envisage, know that India is going to be flooded by white label EV, with all due respect to everyone who's doing that, nothing against them. How did you know that you needed a gearbox? And you will be different if you had a gearbox.
So 2019, when we started, the idea wasn't to find a differentiator. The idea was to actually understand the consumer.
Hmm.
Talk to people and you get to know what their problems are. It's as simple as that. When it comes to electric, reliability was a big conversation. Battery safety was a big conversation. The biggest single complaint I have heard in all of 2019 is, साहब ये ऊपर नहीं चढ़ती, दो आदमी बिठाओ अंडर ब्रेथ नहीं निकलती. These are the complaints which came in again and again and again. Our urban road infrastructure is good, semi-urban is okay, rural you don't know. And India is no longer a country which is only present in some 6 cities, 7 cities. We have grown across the board. I mean, tier 2 cities which we talked about in tier 2 10 years ago and tier 2s today, no, the sizes and scales are very different. We are the largest population on the planet. So, no, we need to understand what does it mean of talking of driving on a rural road. I'm talking about an unpaved road. I'm talking about a cement road with potholes. You need fantastic suspensions. You need things to be able to survive the shocks and bumps. You need to be able to give control back to the user. And at the end of the day, you're trying to make something which is inherently safe. That is how we figured gearbox. We had no foresight. We are just going and solving problems of the consumer.
See, gearbox is a very enthusiast-driven thing. It's although you're solving much more than that. You're solving practical issues. You're basically getting a little bit more efficiency out of the engine and stuff like that. That is fine. But if you look at it today, you are the only one who has a gearbox as a motorcycle here. So that has come basically given you much more than you would have probably bargained for. We all know how Matter Era looks, but how does Mohal, like in private, in person, think and has grown so that it has led to the genesis of Matter? Because you are the riding force behind it,
Yeah.
I may add, pun intended. But what is your history? Why did you want to make a motorcycle? And I'm pretty sure you ride a lot of motorcycles.
No, unfortunately, I do not. I'm a car guy.
Oh, that I'm not. I won't say that hit hard, but I understand. So we are not like here enemies. That kind of movies that you see car and versus bike guys.
First one I got onto, the first one I was actually allowed to ride was the Era just because I built it myself.
So you sworn. When did you swear this? Like when you were young, that I will not ride a bike unless until I make it.
No, I don't think that was the exact story. But for me, motorcycles came into being because I'm very passionate about technology and especially technology in cars. And what I've seen is most of this technology becomes available to the car guys, maybe to the high-end motorcycles, but never to the mass markets. Tell me, why can't you have passive keyless entry on a motorcycle? Why can't your phone connect decently to the Bluetooth on the bike? I mean, we all know there's Bluetooth on bikes available, but I'm talking about an actual connection which is as stable as something you get in a car. Why can't you go completely hands-free? Why do you need to have the ability to take your phone out of your pocket? Simple things which have been solved in cars 10 years ago are still not solved in motorcycles today.
What do you drive?
I drive an Ioniq 5.
Obviously, yeah, it has to be an electric.
It has to be an electric.
It has to be, right? And overall, the owning experience. If you were a person that was living in an apartment and not in a very big, house, like how would you feel that India is ready for electric vehicles?
If I had to split the problem again, and this is more to do with the grid infrastructure, if I had to if I had a fixed parking spot and I had a car,
Hmm.
yeah, doesn't matter where I am,
Hmm.
I would buy an electric.
Right.
And if I was very conscious on making sure I have my return on capital, I do the maths, I do everything, my baseline would be somewhere around 15 lakhs. That would be the price point. That's where you see a lot of these products coming out. You see a lot of people using them. When it comes to two-wheelers, irrespective of the price point, you are always going to break even.
Hmm.
You are running at 25 paisa a kilometer as compared to 2.5 rupees. Simple math, you're saving 2 rupees every kilometer. You drive 1 lakh kilometers, you've recovered the core cost of the product. Any product, I'm saying take any product, you'll have a number which is always lesser than the warranty period. So my background is, I mean, by education, I'm an engineer focusing on materials. But yes, I have done automotive projects
Yes.
for
That is what I
for
want
the
to know.
last 10 years. I
Yeah.
mean, I have taken up a 1000 cc engine from 1000, put it onto a frame, made something resembling the aerial atom, done a few projects around that, burnt a lot of hands, took 6 years just to make a frame. Yeah, wasn't an engineer then, became an engineer later. But yes, have tinkered with automotive, understood that yes, electronics are a pain when it comes to automotive. The 1000 was the last powerful engine I could find. In India, we have seen scooters, electric scooters, been there since the longest time. I think one of the large OEMs started late 90s. The flood happened mid to end 2010s, and then you saw any MMP coming in, Fame 1, Fame 2, all of these transitions have happened. We are sitting in 2023. In this journey, I've not seen a motorcycle. I've seen 40, 50, 60, 100 scooters coming out. We've not seen enough motorcycles, whereas this country runs on motorcycles. Ask anyone, motorcycles are the SUVs of the developing world.
If that was not 1,000, the engine, I'm assuming that you're talking about
Okay.
and it was just an electric engine doing the same.
Any day.
You would have enjoyed more in electric.
I mean, well, I wasn't 1000 cc engine, I'm not gunning for top speed, I'm gunning for acceleration.
Okay.
When I moved to electric on the get go, I mean, you press the throttle, you're gonna shoot through.
Yeah.
Shoot through. I mean, off the line, I will be faster. I mean, my era is going to be faster than anything you have in this campus. I'm talking for the first 10 centimeters. No promises after,
First 10
but I will be faster off the line. Always faster. Because that's how electric motors operate.
And tell me one thing, there are so many companies that are coming out with two-wheelers, EVs.
Okay.
Why are there no such companies, startups, that are coming out with four-wheelers?
I would say that electric technology, the core building blocks of electric, are hard. No, I mean, well, we're around the corner. We are hearing stories about Teslas coming into India.
I'm talking about startups. See, if you wanted to do...
It's a function of capital.
Okay.
The amount of money required to
Is
go
huge.
through is significantly higher
Hmm.
because everything's just scaled up, right?
But since you are also an engineer, you understand everything, the technicalities. Isn't a car easier to pull off than a motorcycle, considering you have to worry about the dynamics, rider triangle, this and that, and of course the space also available for the battery and 10,000 other things. Isn't a car easier to pull off?
Anyone who's worth their
Salt.
salt.
From Ran of Kutch. No.
But
Okay.
anyone who's worth their salt, as an engineer, everyone will tell you the complexities go higher and higher and higher because just because I have a car and because you have larger space to deal with doesn't make it any easier because you're trying to optimize a much larger space.
Mhm.
When we looked at motorcycles, everyone said, well, you have more space. Yes, because I have more space, my expectations of performance are higher, means I, in turn, have to do a lot more crunching in. We have to do a lot more miniaturization. It took us 2 years to perfect liquid cooling onto the era.
No, complexity wise, it's of course.
Just 2 years.
Yeah.
It took me 2 years to get from nothing to my first vehicle and then 2 years just trying to solve for liquid cooling.
Did this thought never cross your mind that you could have made a four-wheeler?
No, no,
Never
never,
thought.
never. I mean,
Wow.
four-wheeler as a market is for people who can afford. Electric is first for the people who cannot. As a country, we import 80% of our oil. Stop that import. Go to electric. We produce enough electricity. We are putting up more nuclear, more solar, more wind. It's cheaper to operate. It's lower maintenance. Keeps more money in the hands of the people. Discretionary spending is going up. What's there not to like in this future version of India 5 years out from today?
What is the penetration of electric vehicles according to you, what you know today, as of today in India?
So, scooters are roughly at 10%. Motorcycles close to zero.
Yeah, we don't have any motorcycles, do we? I mean, almost no. I mean, we have, but now, which brings me to the point. Getting white labeled motorcycles products here, like from anywhere, like off the shelf, and putting it together is much easier. You have done everything, all the research and everything in India. Why didn't you go down that route?
Well, we started in 2019. So, if the game was distribution, there were people who were way ahead of us by 10 years, 15 years, who have been buying and selling electric vehicles in this country. They had a fantastic network. They had everything in place, but that is not where the game is in this country. When we do not have a product which we can offer the consumer, which we would let our own family members drive, is where the problem starts. When we wanted to buy certain components, we looked at uh, China, we looked at India, we looked at Europe. We didn't spare anyone. But at some point, we realized that there were black boxes which we did not understand what they were performing. It did not make sense for us to buy something which we do not understand and put it into a vehicle that is ours. And I'll give you an example. So, a motor which was designed for the gearbox. Now, when I put a controller onto this, to make this current 10 kilowatt motor work, my controller had to be 15-20 kilowatt. But the idea here is I was not able to optimize. I was spending way too much money in trying to make it. As a business, we are a for profit outfit. We need to make money, but we still need to give something to consumers at a price point where it makes sense for them to buy it. I can't sell you a Matter Era for the price of a Hayabusa. You're not going to buy it. The idea here is that how do we optimize cost, package it right? That is where, I mean, think about it. I'm trying to meet cost and performance targets.
So major cost is obviously in R&D. You have so many people who are just working.
Yep.
Basically, I won't say it's reinventing the wheel, but it's basically making a wheel which you know exactly what it's gonna do. Do you expect any love back or recognition for this, especially when Era goes out into the market? People should understand that how big deal it is that you have put in effort and money in creating a product, everything, from software till hardware in India, rather than just getting stuff and putting it together.
No. Customer doesn't care. Customer cares about only one thing, that I'm solving his problem, and that problem includes reliability. The reason for me doing 5 years of effort is that when I win the customer, I'm never going to lose him. We have put ourselves through hell just to make sure that once our product is in the hands of the consumer, we are never losing the consumer again.
So basically, we are trying to, I mean, I don't want to sound cocky here, but be the Chetak of, or the Vespa of.
Yes, we are gunning for a household name. We are gunning for the mass market. We are not going after high performance.
Okay.
So today what you're seeing as the flagship, that is where our peak performance sits. At the Auto Expo, I mean, you were there, we showcased subsequent models where we are doing swapping, which are somewhere in the 125 to 150cc bracket, two versions of it. That's the next line of products that we are working on right now. So maybe after that we might create something even more powerful than this.
I believe that electric vehicles, it's in my mind, are not safe enough. I mean, for example, if you see ICE vehicles here parked inside, if I want to keep an electric vehicle overnight parked inside my house, for example, it might catch fire. So what are you doing to address that? That these vehicles is safe enough for you to. Of course, you have a battery management system. I know all that. Because of some incidents in the past, has marred the reliability of electric vehicles, especially in India. Let's talk about that.
Do you sleep with your smartphone sitting outside the house?
Is that a trick question, or what is it?
No, it's the same thing, right?
Hmm.
Lithium ion is lithium ion. Lithium ion's there in your watch, in your laptop, in your
No, but
phone.
what about the size? The size is like
Size has
does not matter.
nothing to do with safety. Safety comes in is when you do not understand how lithium ion operates.
Okay.
So I'll get
So
into
there is no
some.
chain reaction even if some.
There
Uh,
can be a chain reaction, but the idea is that the first point should not happen.
hmm.
When you look at lithium ion cells, charge them properly, connect them to the grid properly. We have introduced liquid cooling onto the bike.
Okay.
Single pointed task of making sure that the batteries stay cold.
Hmm. So you mean it can only catch fire if it gets hot? Like how does the
So, cells are an electrochemical reaction.
okay.
Electricity goes in, stored as chemical energy, chemical reaction happens, electricity comes out.
Hmm.
Simple
Hmm.
enough. All of this leads to rise in temperature.
Okay.
Post a threshold, and let me call it a 60 degrees Celsius.
Right.
Post 60 degrees Celsius, things go haywire.
Hmm.
When you pump too much current into the battery,
Hmm.
charger bigad gaya. You keep charging, even if the battery is charged.
Hmm.
Temperature goes so high that your cell will fail.
So one question: this liquid that you're using, coolant, let's call it whatever it is it also a fire retardant, or can you make it one?
It's water and glycol. It's literally simple water glycol.
But as an idea, can this also develop as a fire retardant?
No,
You can't have that
because
material, nothing like that.
no liquids will ever touch the battery.
No, in case of a fire.
No, physics is slightly very different there. You want this to keep cooling because even in case of fire, the way the construction of modern battery packs is, so we have about 280 cells going inside every single pack.
Okay.
Even if one of them blows off, the next door neighbor will not even know this one stopped working.
So you mean circuit breakers, or what are they?
Any liquid cooling with the kind of foam that's being packed in,
Okay.
the technology around the pack construction is so solid. You lose a cell, the cell next door will not know something went wrong. That's the kind of reliability that is being built into every single pack. And this is with hardware protection, software protection, mechanical protection, and liquid cooling. We need to understand that AIS 156 is the most stringent battery safety laws on the planet today.
And you're following that.
Everyone has to. North America does not have battery safety laws.
Really?
Just to give you context.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, even some states I know that they don't require helmets. So you are targeting the era at exactly what kind of people, what kind of bikers, what kind of, audience?
I'm looking at the younger generation. I'm looking at 18 to 25-year-olds today.
Hmm.
I mean, those are the guys who were born with the smartphone.
I think there's a law like above below 25 you can ride without a license, something like that. It's there in India. In
Below, I
electric
think
vehicles.
40 kilometers or something, yeah.
Yeah. So, because outside there are restricted motorcycles, which can be de-restricted, and you can have your full license with more power. I mean, I think they're called A2 license, something like that. A learner's approved LAMS vehicle and stuff like that. Can we also look at eras which to induct youngsters, even younger than that, which don't require a license, but they have been riding, without a license anyway, illegally, internal combustion engines. Are you looking at that also market? Because that is where the future of India lies, actually. Well, that is what I feel, because they don't have a good product. All they are having is either internal combustion engines, which are they are riding illegally, or they are riding scooters, electric scooters, something like that. Which I feel that they are Like you said, they don't have enough features like the era has.
You should try the era for yourself.
I'm not 18 to 25 anymore.
No, but then tell me, is it possible to restrict it to 40?
No,
You'll
I would not. My heart doesn't want to be,
you'll
but
probably hit 40 in first gear.
okay. But this is a very big opportunity to hone people, and they don't have to buy a new bike. Once they get license, when they turn 18, you can just re-restrict.
Come on, we all love getting new
So
bikes.
then you must make more models which are higher.
Point noted.
So that was where I was coming to, because I feel that, I've seen your logo, I've seen a lot of things that you have done, with Matter. Even your Auto Expo stall. It was like, here, these people mean business. They know how to design, because I'm a designer myself. And your logo, even your name. No, 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 let's talk about that. So why did you choose that name, Matter?
Yeah, early days of the company, there was about three of us sitting in a room, and we all had to pick a name. There's a list of about 10 names on the board, and we all had to come in and pick a name. Matter was the name that got picked by every single one in the room. The
Okay.
problem is, everyone's reasons for picking Matter are very different.
Including you also picked Matter?
Yep, so I'm a materials guy.
Yeah.
We were building grounds up. We were building from the building blocks. I mean, we were building essentially at matter level. So, yes, that made complete sense to me. For the design team and the people who were thinking about the consumer, for them, the consumer mattered, the environment mattered, going green matters, TCO matters. Getting every single feature that's available in a four wheeler onto a motorcycle matters. Everyone had a different reason, but that one word, yes, it matters, stuck. So that's the origin of why it's called matter.
For some reason, it is very futuristic.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to get you out of this idea that electric vehicles are the future, what would it take them? Like, what would it take Mohal to stop thinking about this
Wow.
and believe in something else? Maybe believe in back to ICE vehicles, or back, or some alternate energy.
No, considering well, the state of development and the technologies we are at right now, I think so. There's a lot of work happening on the battery side. People are talking sodium ion, people are talking solid state, people are talking about different variations of lithium ion. A lot of conversation happens there, but at the end of the day, the vehicle's still electric. People are talking about renewables, people are talking about solar panels on vehicles, people are talking, I mean, think nuclear, hydro, solar, wind, still converting all to electric. When you think hydrogen, it's still an electric motor. Anything other than internal combustion is electric.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Your source of fuel or mode of storage of energy is changing. We were using energy stored in the form of oil and using internal combustion to get it out. Everything else is going to be either some chemical process, store it in a battery, some chemical process, store it in the form of hydrogen, some chemical process, store it somehow else, something new might come up. But it's all electric. It's now going to be the next century of electric motors until we find some completely different means of propulsion which we have never even spoken about
Like
today.
dark matter or something. Your future and everything, your all cards on the table. Now, I want to ask you how important it is for you to be supported by the government, because no matter how much you do, how much effort you make, if the government does not step up and build infrastructures for charging and other, ancillary stuff, whatever.
I drive a car which has a 77 kilowatt hour battery. Your bedside socket is 5 amps, 220 volts.
Hmm.
So 1 kilowatt of power is what you get every single hour.
Hmm.
It would take my vehicle 77 hours to charge. Stupid. I need infrastructure. I need 11 kilowatt, 7, 11, 100, 150, 350 kilowatt chargers just to get my charging time in a car down. Now let's look at an electric two-wheeler. Let's look at the era. We have a 5 kilowatt hour battery. Same plug, your bedside socket where you charge your phone, laptop, power bank, whatever it is you use. Max time, if my battery was completely dead, I mean, usable energy 4.5 hours to charge. Why would you need charging infrastructure from a two-wheeler perspective? What is the largest battery you will get? In the market today, I think on a two-wheeler we have something like a 10 kilowatt hour. You first understand if you're ever going to use that full 0 to 100, I mean 100 to 0. If yes, you are, do you have 10 hours to charge it back? Day to day usage on a two wheeler, you might not even need to charge every single day.
Okay.
I mean, I charge my car probably, what, 3 times a month? 4 times a month. There is support which is coming in the form of, what can I say, subsidies at both um, component suppliers level to the consumer. The government has building up the solar base. The government is, and they've recently increased FAME 2 by 1500 crores, increased an additional target of about 700-800 vehicles. The problem is we are far cry away from the penetration numbers that are required for inflection. Market has still not started running electric of its own accord. I think the 2 last years of the pandemic, 2020 and 21, which, well, unfortunately, all of us lost as a market. 2 years extended support, and I think what the targets the government set out to reach from the original policies will be there. India will be on its own in terms of electric. I don't see a need for subsidy post 2026.
Okay, so this question is like asking the devil if he needs help. But do you think that electric vehicles are the answer to the alternate energy source that we are seeking, to the solutions of the problem that actually it initially started to address, like set out to pollution and everything, like saving our earth? Is it actually addressing that?
See, the developing world can't afford to go green. You can't afford decarbonization plants. You can't afford carbon capture mechanisms. What can we actually afford? What is our contribution going to be in the fight against climate change? We are able to take our largest sources of pollution, take them out of the core of the city, get as much renewable power plugged in to have a significant impact on pollution. Well, we are in Delhi. Tell me, what would have happened if everything was electric?
Yeah, so that you didn't have to remind me because I know.
Yeah.
I live in Delhi, and of course, especially in winters when all the crops are burning. I mean, this is a very well known fact. But my thing is that the point is that the infrastructure, the batteries, the whatever you're building for electric vehicles, they're ultimately built somewhere. Even the electricity is also coming partly from coal.
True,
Or
true.
if I would ask you, what is your favorite or dream internal combustion car? No, no, you are free. See, it might go against your ethics,
No, no,
but
the Type E.
huh? Okay, Jaguar.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, classic, smooth lines. I mean, I'm a big fan of the 40s through 60s cars.
So I love muscle cars.
But if you tell me which car I would buy today, even though it's an antique, it'll be the Mark III Range Rover Defender, Land Rover Defender.
And amongst the new ones?
New ones, well, I'll move to electric. Now I'll get answers like Rivian,
So
Lucid,
which is the
Tesla.
best electric car right now, according to you?
What utility? Tell me, you want an SUV? I'll tell you a Rivian. You want a sedan?
Overall.
It'll probably be the Tesla Model Y.
What do you think about the Cybertruck?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it. It's literally out there. I mean, well, people are complaining about fits and finishes, but well, we'll see how that turns out to be in real use case. But it's absolutely a tank.
What would you want the Matter flagship superbike to be?
Let me start by talking about things that I think are worth exploring. You should have an automatic transmission.
Hmm.
The gear shift lever should act like a paddle shift.
Hmm.
In terms of regeneration, you should be able to do one pedal driving on a motorcycle.
Hmm.
So, one throttle or one wrist
Hmm.
driving on a motorcycle.
Hmm.
You should have adaptive cruise control.
Hmm.
Why not?
Hmm.
You should have lane keep assist, but not more so from a vehicle controlling,
Hmm.
more so from nudging driver that hey, you're going off.
Hmm.
Let the rider still be present. Don't make him obsolete, but help him out so that long drives become easier and easier. Forget fast charging. I would move to swapping at the core heart of it.
Hmm.
In terms of power, 25, 30 kilowatt hour, so about 40, 45. Range again made it immaterial because you're on swapping. Powertrain needs to feel like a powertrain. Still should have that shift. Step functions, no smooth curves. Step functions in terms of how you're actually getting output.
When do you have a desire, let me first put it that way, and then a vision of actually exporting eras out of India
Yes, we do.
or any matter product
No,
for that matter?
yes, definitely, yes, we do. I mean, we've already got an interest from countries in Southeast Asia
Hmm.
because for them, I mean, understand anywhere we talk developing world, India is the flagship, but there are people who really want to follow us. Countries who are not able to make these products, India is going to become their go to place. Tell me who's focused on motorcycles, especially electric, in the last 20 years? Forget 20 years, last 10 years. Because every single company which historically had technology in the motorcycle space is focusing in their home markets or on different products altogether. I mean, yes, Suzuki's and Yamaha's and Honda's all have electric motorcycles, high end performance for the developed markets. Is there anything on the ground today that you can show me which is for us at our price point? No. And that is where we will have to take that role of exporting out from India products, I mean, made in India for India and the world. That's the approach.
When did you realize that you can actually the product that you're building is something which is of quality and which can make an impact? I mean, there must be a point of realization or self कि ठीक है, now what I had set out to do, I'm actually achieving it. What was that point when in the era especially?
So, quality is a function of testing,
Hmm.
continuously improving, and
Hmm.
reaching a point where you can't find any flaw at the offset. So, June 2020, when we built out the first prototype motorcycle, and so parked just outside the garage, and it's a very short run. I think about 50 meters or lesser. That run we did, we realized we had a winner. That vehicle did not move forward from the 50 meter. So we went from 0 to 50 meters. We were elated, we started clapping, and the vehicle stopped functioning. That's where actual pains of making a motorcycle start. I mean, that's where our journey for liquid cooling starts. We were in the summer, we were outside a garage, we were in the sunlight at 48 degrees Celsius. Battery was baking and protections hit, system shut down. I mean, this is where the original genesis for liquid cooling started. I'm just giving you that flavor on why did we introduce liquid
I
cooling.
know Ahmedabad heat. If you know Delhi pollution, I know Ahmedabad heat. Yeah.
Things have not been straight, things have not been easy. The smartest people in a room will not be able to solve a problem which none of them have ever seen before. They can't anticipate it, you can always solve it. So, liquid cooling was not figured. We hit this roadblock. We were lucky to have been based out of Ahmedabad. Had I been based out of Bangalore or someplace colder, I would have never realized this problem. Not for the longest time.
Hmm. Yeah, so actually that was a blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise.
Uh,
I mean, it was hot. We were clapping. We were so happy at how the gearbox was performing. And then everything just shut down. And we were like, what happened? We realized that the battery said, can't do much. I'm dead. Why? Because I'm too hot. Said, fine. Took us 2 years to actually get that thing put together in a way, going around patents, understanding technologies, prototyping it, making everything work, to really coming to a point where we said, hey, this is a solution that is elegant enough to go onto the product.
which is a very important question. Even the biggest companies in the world, they can't figure out how to, first of all, keep everyone motivated and have that belief in that what the product that they're creating together as a hive mind is worth being there for. How does Mohal, motivate himself and other people in the How many employees you have? 600?
Yeah, 600, yes.
So 600 is not a small number. Like, you're
Yeah.
supporting thousands of people and families. First of all, you must be feeling responsible for that. And of course, you are responsible for, all the people that are going to buy,
Yeah.
the era. How are you keeping yourself motivated, and are you afraid at the core, like a child is, like, their baby is now going out in the real world. Tell me something about which, nobody knows about, your what is going on in your mind right now, in your heart.
So, keeping people motivated, that's an easy answer. Just remind them about the product that they're working on. Anyone and everyone who has ever driven the era has never forgotten this experience. Be fully aware that when you drive the era, you would have driven an electric vehicle with a gearbox for the first time. It's not an experience you'll ever forget. It's going to get ingrained.
Mm.
The first vehicle you ever drove which was electric with a gearbox is the Matter era. Now, in terms of where we are in the journey, I think for us, scaling up, making sure we get out to as many people who want our product as soon as we can. That is what is giving me the sleepless nights. Because scaling up is one thing to have things in place on paper, understandings put down. One thing is to actually get out and do it.
Once you start delivering it, are you scared of the verdict of
Oh
the
no,
customers?
no, no, no. They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it for what it is because India buys 1.4 crore motorcycles. India wants electric. India's not getting electric. And I'm not trying to sell off some unnecessary product. India is very skeptical about what they buy. I mean, Indians, we know how to, when we know our wallets, we know what we want to buy, how we want to buy it. India, I'm not worried. We have worked 5 years with consumers walking by our side and making this product literally for them. At the end of the day, our job here is to solve their problems. This is no ego trip here. This is no engineering marvel. This is not something which is absurdly out of bounds. Era is something which is so practical, people might find it funny. It's literally to the point. It does what it says on the box. So it's simple, it's clean, it's not complicated. That's why I'm not worried about the verdict.
You are very connected to the company. You are emotionally invested. It is not about money always. It was great, speaking to you, Mohal.
Thank you for having me here.
And I definitely would want to ride the era now.
Let's plan something out. I'm literally flying out in the evening today. If that works, we can schedule something. But if not, at your earliest convenience, happy to get you the vehicles where you want them.
Why to delay the future? Let's do it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for
All right, done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.